Hi there, I'm John McCann and you're watching TechRadar. I'm here in this beautiful park in London to talk to you about the 5G version of the futuristic Samsung Galaxy Fold. So 5G has been available around the world in places like London and in America for a few months now, but you're unlikely to have seen the 5G version of the Samsung Galaxy Fold in a video because in the US it's not available, and we've just got our hands on one in the UK, so we're going to dive in and see how it gets on. So the Galaxy Fold 5G looks exactly the same as the 4G version, unsurprisingly. On the front you get this 4.6-inch display which acts as a fully functional phone with all your apps available to play with. The aspect ratio is a little odd, but for replying to a quick message or quickly checking where you are on a map, it's really useful, saves you having to open up the whole phone. However, if you're looking at the map and you want a little bit more space, that's when the magic happens, because you can open it up and you've got the map on a much bigger screen. Now, the first thing everyone will say when they open the Galaxy Fold for the first time is, oh, I can see the screen crease where it folds, and yes, you can. However, start using it if you're playing a game or watching a TV show or a movie, actually kind of disappears because your eyes are focusing on the action on screen rather than on that fold. So most of the time it doesn't really get in the way, so don't worry too much about that. However, we're here to actually look at the 5G capabilities, and we've got full 5G signal at the moment in this park in London. We're in Regents Park for the Mac fans of you out there, and we've got a few things that we can try out. So let's see how fast the 5G is at the moment. So we'll open up the speed test, we'll hit go, and we'll wait for the numbers. So you can instantly see the connection is really good. We're going to hit 150, we got close to 200 there at a peak, but it's going to settle on about 160 by the looks of it, which is a really impressive speed. In London, on average on 4G, you're probably looking at anything between 15 and 40 megabits per second, so 178 is a significant advantage. Brilliant.
Did that error?
Yeah, that did error, and our 5G just dropped out. Okay. So the last test did have a small error, but we're running it again, and again we're still getting those high speeds around the 160 mark, which is really good compared to your 4G, average 4G connection, especially in central London where there's a high populace of devices which can slow the network down. It just shows the power of 5G here. Average 167 megabits per second, which is a really impressive performance. 5G can get a lot faster than that, 300, 400, but 167 is more sort of realistic day-to-day speeds that you can expect. Upload speeds not quite as fantastic, 6 megabits per second, but it's those download speeds which are the key ones, because that will determine how good your streaming is, how good your gameplay is, and in terms of app downloads. And if you're about to jump on a train, if you want to quickly download a movie on Netflix or a TV show on Prime Video, it should only take a few seconds, and then you'll have it ready to watch offline as you inevitably fall in and out of signal on your journey. So let's jump into Netflix and let's stream some video on this big screen of the Galaxy Fold. So let's just have a look at Brooklyn Nine-Nine, for example. Let's just get going straight away. We press play, we'll go into landscape mode. So you do get a bigger display than you'd get on pretty much any smartphone out there at the moment. So if you're sitting on a train on the commute, if you're on an aeroplane, you don't have to pull out your laptop or your tablet for a slightly bigger viewing experience. You can just slide this out of your pocket, and your pocket's going to have to be relatively large. This isn't a thin device, this isn't a light device, it is a little bulky, but if your pockets are big enough, you can slide it out, you can have an instantly bigger screen than most other people's smartphones, and it just makes that viewing experience just a little nicer. And as I've said, the Fold down the middle of the screen, if you really look for it, you can still see it, but when you're engaged with video or a game on this screen, it does disappear, especially if you're looking straight on. If you start looking at the Fold from an angle, you do see the crease, but from straight on, it does disappear. 5G on the Fold is working really well. There was no real buffer time, there's no lag, it's not stuttering and stopping. We're able to skip through and rejoin the action pretty quickly, or not. Absolutely mug me off here, innit? So 5G means you should be able to skip between aspects of a video more quickly without having to wait for it to load. So as you can see, after that initial long load that we had, we are now able to skip through this episode a bit more quickly. Again, here's another load screen just to go against what I'm saying. and it just shows that 5G networks are still very much in development. They are nowhere near the height of their powers. Cell towers are still relatively low in numbers, and the experience is only ever going to improve. We can still get a little bit of patchy 5G here and there. Even sitting here, we've run a few speed tests before this video, and the speeds were varying from that 160 that we were seeing and the speed test that you've witnessed to lower rates of 50 or 60. So it's not always a consistent speed you're getting, even in a place which apparently has really good 5G connectivity. Let's start off with a relatively simple game, Clash Royale. Big fan of this game personally. I'm doing all right. I don't mind saying. Load times are pretty good. We can go straight jump into a battle, wait for an opponent, and we're straight in. And in terms of how it displays on screen, it fits the whole display. There's no display issues here. Not all apps will fit the screen quite as seamlessly as Clash Royale does. It's up to developers to tweak their apps to take care of this 4:3 aspect ratio display, which is actually now rare in phones. We're looking at 16:9, 18:9, or even 21:9 if you're looking at the Sony. So it is, in terms of screen format, slightly odd in this day and age. And as I said, developers will need to custom develop for it for the best viewing experience. But as you can see, everything runs nicely with Clash Royale. I'm doing pretty well, I don't mind saying really. And we're just chugging along, although now we've dropped signal, which is weird because we're on 5G. So that's slightly disappointing that we've suddenly got an issue, but it's okay, we're back and I'm absolutely smashing it. So that is Clash Royale. So we've landed on the ground and everything so far seems to be running nice and smoothly. There's no obvious lag going on. The reaction time on the trigger is good. And we're just trying to see if we can find anyone, but we've got 94 people currently alive on the map. We're streaming over 5G. The graphics, as I said, are up high. So it is working rather nicely here. And with the bigger screen on the Galaxy Fold, you're actually getting a bit more of the landscape around you, which will come in handy if you find yourself surrounded by enemies. Gives you a better view of what's going on. It could give you a little advantage as well, depending on your ability. And with a bigger screen means your fingers are actually taking up less of the playing space as well, which is always handy. So by the looks of it, 5G is working very nicely and we're able to run this game with no issues at all. If only we could find another person to interact with and hopefully destroy.
Thank you for watching this video on the Samsung Galaxy Fold. If you're interested in the phone, we've got a full review up on TechRadar at the moment, as well as a few different videos around the device.
And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It means the world to us. If you want more great videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to tell us what you think of the Fold, because we'd love to know, hit up the comments below and let's have a little discussion. Until then, we'll see you again very soon.